I'm living proof that Jesus can change a despised little child into a child's advocate, a beaten down kid into an encourager, a broken thing into someone who prays for the healing of others, a trembling youth into a howling warrior, brandishing the sword of the Spirit. My point, ladies and gentlemen, is that we all have origin stories. Satan is defeated by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. This novel is mine. Thank you.
Now I get to read a traumatic story. Buckle up.
As if we weren't emotional before.
Yeah. Oh, that was just the warm-up round, guys. The title of the story is Bite Down. Always a good sign. The climbing tree provided ample space for multiple adventures, boasting a gently sloped trunk and core branch arrangement that somewhat resembled a relaxed wrist, with palm up and fingers slightly curled. The firmly set bark and copious knots established traction and footholds for climbers of every skill level. However, what was most impressive was the robustness of each bough. Except for an occasional dry twig, which was removed quickly and discarded down to the knuckle-like root system below, the woody perennial plant indisputably endured the brunt of each swinging, dangling, leaping, and reclining person without compromise. Sloping between the two lowest branches was a 5-foot-long zip line my brother installed using a rope from the garage. The challenge was to find something to grasp that could support our weight, was comfortable for our hands, and cascaded us down smoothly. Recalling various movie scenes, my sibling and I were confident that a simple household item might suffice, as opposed to expensive rigging. Hardy sticks either snapped under the pressure or slipped to the side and caused rope burn. Plastic bucket handles and flexible metal bits were unforgiving, digging into the pads of our fingers and leaving painful indentions. There has to be something that'll work, I assured myself. Stepping into the garage, I scanned the walls that displayed the shelving my father installed and his meticulously organized possessions. A red shop rag caught my eye and was within reach. It's worth a shot. Excited over its potential, I snatched the grimy cloth, scurried to my brother, and yelled, "Let's try this! Me first! I found it!" Okay, just let me move, the boy conceded, reaching his foot to the base of a neighboring limb to observe. I tossed the grease-stained rag over the weathered cotton rope and performed a firm test yank. The makeshift substitution for a T-bar had qualified for an attempt. Intrepid and determined, I threw myself into the mercy of its fibers, pinching the rag's corners with a white-knuckled grip. Down the line I went, without discomfort, to land firmly on my feet. "Sweet, it works!" I shouted. Try it! Wow, oh my gosh, I'm doing it again!" "Nice!" my sibling cheered as he stepped forward. After carefully examining the cloth, the boy nodded his head in approval. The greasy shop rag had maintained its integrity. Proceeded with his own firm test yank, my sibling finally took a brief turn down his own zip line. "Yeah, awesome!" Much like ants harvesting an abandoned plate of cake, my brother and I instinctively developed an unspoken system of finishing a turn, handing the rag up to the other, and climbing down the trunk to receive the rag back for another go. There was no bickering or the suppression of jealousy. We unified under the banners of innovation and exhilaration, and continued to zipline in blissful harmony until sunset. The materfamilias pushed open the screen door and shouted, "What are you monsters doing? Take that down! I better not see you do that again. Come inside. It's time to eat." "Okay," her son submissively replied, sounding perpetually innocent. The boy leaped from his perch and sprinted toward the garage to receive a screwdriver. Climbing to regain his position, he began a vigorous attempt to dig the tip of the Phillips head into the highest knot to loosen it, fiddling with the rope until twilight engulfed us. "Come inside now!" the termagant roared. Abandoning the treed line, the boy returned the screwdriver and shop rag to their rightful locations and ran into the house with me on his heels. While I forced myself to eat whatever had been served, I became obsessed with our newfound thrill. During bath time, I grinned, thankful that my brother failed to dismantle the zip line. While brushing my teeth, I relived memories of laughter, climbing and cheerfully taking turns. Resting my head on my pillow, I hoped to fall asleep quickly and fast forward myself into the morning where the rope, shop rag, and I could reunite. Rest patiently waited for my mind to still its incessant wiggles of expectation, ultimately finding me in sleep. After daybreak, sunlight poured from the window above my headboard. Stirred awake, I gasped and whispered, "The zip line! It's still there!" Hearing the materfamilias speak gently to someone in the dining area opposite the kitchen, I grew confused. During most summer mornings, the woman would traditionally be fast asleep or already seated on the sofa to watch some daytime television. I stepped softly through the living room to discover my brother seated in a hunch at the dining table and his beloved mother encouraged. "Sound it out. You got the first part. Don't get frustrated." Utterly distracted from my mission by overwhelming curiosity, I inquired, "What are you guys doing?" "I'm helping your brother with his reading," the woman informed. "Don't interrupt." I peered over his shoulder at the page. "Get out of here! You're bothering us! Besides, you're too young to read," the materfamilias snapped. I laughed and confidently reported, "That's not true at all. You know I can read. I read signs all the time." "Whatever. No, you can't. Get over here and read this, you little liar," the materfamilias challenged. Snagging the opportunity to impress the woman and gain her favor, I stepped up and clearly read aloud. "The boy ran up the hill and was out of breath. It was more difficult than it seemed." Pleasantly surprised, the woman chirped, "Very good, Sandra." Prodding my brother, she antagonized, "Look, even Sandra can read this, and she's younger than you." My sibling's face grew crimson. The materfamilias glared at me and gruffly ordered, "Go away, Sandra. You're not helping. Find something to do outside." I peered through the sliding glass door and displayed my favorite tree and the rope that was waiting. In a flash, I snagged the rag from the garage and rushed up the tree, confidently tossing it over the rope. Pulling straight down, I slung my feet away from the tree, as I had countless times the day before. The zip line slipped off the branch and ripped away from the cloth in my fists, as if my brother had never tied the rope at all, causing my left arm to thud firmly onto my chest. Falling face down, my wrist became sandwiched between my sternum and a knuckled root as the inertia of my body slammed down, releasing a distinct crack. As I hit the ground, the impact knocked the breath from my lungs and left me grounded like a freshly caught trout. Unable to inhale or speak, my mouth was nothing more than a pulsing gape. I was suffocating. Any attempt to breathe tweaked my clamped wrist on the exposed root and surged pain through every nerve in my arm. Pulse racing and on the verge of passing out, my rigid body involuntarily relaxed and allowed me to take my first deep breath. A frightful howl escaped my lips, which rattled even me. No one came. The pain seemed to intensify without limit, causing my body to spasm. When I moved, my wrist tweaked. The agonizing sensation forced another blood-chilling howl from my tightly distorted face. Tears landed on the root and soaked into the soil near my cheek. As I attempted to flip myself over with the other arm, I quickly discovered that increased blood flow exacerbated the agony. Remaining face down, I screamed over and over. Using my words, I cried out, "Help me! Someone please help me!" In return, I heard a forceful knock on the glass. It was the same knock I heard when Nancy and I joyously played outside too loudly. With increasing intensity, I cried out once more, "I hurt my arm! Please help me! Help me!" No one came. I lingered among the roots, sticks, grass, and soil as insects crawled past my face and over my right arm. Mustering willpower in the absence of human aid, I forced my right arm to flip the rest of my trembling body over. Pangs surged through my throbbing limb. I focused on breathing and whimpered to exhale. I attempted to adjust my body with instant regret. A wave of searing pain made me rigid and locked me in place. Surrendering all efforts to cry out for help, I allowed time to pass. The scenario confirmed my suspicion. The woman preferred my sibling and considered me expendable. Our screen door eventually opened and slammed shut just before an aggressive trod drew near. The termagant scolded, "Can't you see I'm trying to help your brother read? What's wrong with you? You're such a crybaby. What did you do? Didn't I tell you to take that rope down? That's what you get. Stand up right now." I peered up in amazement to witness a soulless creature standing over her greatest inconvenience. At that moment, I recalled a television episode about insects and preferred to be consumed alive by African driver ants than be subject to her version of care. Calming my thoughts, I slowly informed, "My arm is broken and I can't get up. When I try to move, the pain stops me. I need help. If you won't help me, would you please go get my brother?" "I don't believe you. You're a liar. Your arm isn't broken," she accused. "Let me see it." The woman snatched my throbbing left wrist, and hoisted me off the ground by it, causing me to howl in torment. "Shut up. You cry about everything. You're just faking it. I'm not taking you to the hospital so they can tell me that nothing's wrong with you. Let me look." With a firm grip over my injured wrist, she forcefully pulled and twisted it upward as I cried, "Stop, stop! What are you doing? Let go of me! Why are you doing this?" "Shut up! Stop crying, you demon from hell, or I'm gonna spank you." The termagant growled, refusing to release my wrist from her tightened clutch. "Get inside, now, before the whole neighborhood hears you." "Good!" I tearfully snapped with gritting teeth. "Maybe one of them will hear what's happening to me and take me to the hospital." Using my injured wrist, she pushed me backwards, through the opened screen door, across the entire kitchen, down the hallway, and ultimately into my bedroom, where she threw my underweight body onto the floor and shouted, "Shut up, or I'll spank you. You're faking it." The woman exited and slammed the door behind her as I wailed with all my soul. Uncontrollable sobs filled the atmosphere and resurrected the woman's wrath. She threw open the door and shouted, "Stop crying! Your arm isn't broken!" The materfamilias lunged towards me, attempting to lift me once more by my injured wrist. From a fetal position, exactly where she had forced me to the ground, I shrank back and shrieked, "Get away! Don't touch me!" Cradling my left arm with the other, I scrambled to my feet as tears flowed and anger swelled. My mind pulsed with a graphic mental image of me tearing the woman apart using only my teeth. "You're driving me crazy," the materfamilias screamed. "What do you want me to do?" Furiously blown away at her reckless stupidity, I slowly enunciated each syllable with an overt exaggeration and growled, "Take me to the hospital." The materfamilias remained motionless, boasting a facial expression categorized somewhere between a raging bull and catatonic. Offering the sadist an incentive, I bribed, "If my arm isn't broken, you can spank me all you want." The woman simply stared, hesitating further in errant vacancy. "Mom," her son interjected, "Sandra can't fake her arm turning blue." Being snapped out of her stupor, the woman pivoted, marched into her bedroom, and huffed, "Now I have to go put on makeup." In his mother's absence, the boy stepped toward me to confess quietly. "Yesterday, when I got the screwdriver to untie the knot, it worked. I was pretending to still be untying it so Mom would think that I couldn't undo it, so it could just be left up. I was going to tighten the knot the next time I was out there. I didn't think you'd use it without looking at the knot first. You couldn't see that rope was barely hanging there?" Scowling, I replied through my teeth, "Well, if I saw that, we wouldn't be having this conversation." I shook my head and sighed. "I don't understand why you untied it in the first place if you were just going to leave it there. You made it seem like the knot was too tight to take apart and that it wouldn't go anywhere. Why should I check something that worked so many times before and couldn't be undone with a screwdriver? Dude, that's messed up. You should have said something to me." He shrugged and continued, "Well, I really thought you saw what I was doing. And the idea of leaving the rope up hit me after I already untied it." He shook his head. "Dang, after this, we'll for sure have to take the rope down." I displayed my blue arm and murmured, "You think all of this is my fault? Wow, I get blamed for everything." I glared at my brother. "Wait a minute. You knew why I was screaming and didn't say anything?" "I told Mom that she should check on you, but she kept ignoring you and making me read," he corrected. "If you would have told her what you did with the rope, she might have believed me and not grabbed my arm or twisted it. You just didn't want to get in trouble," I surmised. "You're unbelievable. I don't know why you even worry about that. Mom loves you. I'm the one she hates." "I'm ready," the termagant announced. "Let's go. And that arm better be broken." Looking down at my brother, she ordered, "You stay home." The car ride was silent and left me worried that there would be no witnesses if I were to be murdered and disposed of. In the waiting room with the termagant beside me, my arm throbbed in my lap as I inquired, "Can someone die of pain?" A frigid pause lingered in the air between us as I peered up at the woman, pleading with my eyes for a shred of civility. "No," she growled, drenched in disdain. My soul choked on the blackest ink of despair, as if to orate, "I am alone. Futile in all my ways, I scream grievances to the deaf, display evidence to the blind, and await the mute to lift their voice on my behalf. Unworthy of love, I exist to be an outlet for frustration and madness. Shame cradles my head each night as I pull a sheet of blood-stained rejection up to my chin, shivering beneath it. I am a broken thing. No one will come for me. I am less than forgotten, for one must first be considered. I am not missed, nor worthy of remembrance, but a detestable and cumbersome burden slung over an unwilling back, a lopsided load to make one unstable. At my core, I crave to be disregarded. Perhaps I'd find peace, yet I remain linked to misery personified, shackled to childhood and my lingering weakness. Sandra Lawson, announced a feminine stranger in scrubs. Hearing my name spoken into the air had delivered a spark of life to my downcast being and inspired me to chirp, "That's me!" I grinned at the woman, who gently smiled back and greeted, "Hello, Sandra. Let's get you fixed up. Follow me." We quickly proceeded down the hall, the long, sterile hall. "Okay, Sandra, what happened that caused you to be here today?" Feeling seen, I replied confidently, I fell from a tree branch onto a root. My arm was under me and I heard a pop. It hurts really bad, so I'm pretty sure it's broken." "It might be. Roots can be pretty unforgiving. This is the x-ray room where we're going to take special pictures of your arm to find out exactly why you're in so much pain. If it's broken, we'll see it," the woman explained. "In this room, you'll need to wear a lead gown, but I'll help you with it. It's heavy. Now, once inside, I'll need you to take off your clothes. If you would feel more comfortable, your mother can join us for that." "No, thank you," I quickly replied. Controlling an expression of suspicion, the woman professionally turned to the materfamilias and ordered, "Wait here. This should only take a few minutes." The technician closed the door behind us and separated me from my tormentor. I examined my surroundings and relaxed in the pleasant company of a woman that was knowledgeable and kind. With all the machines and monitors around me, I imagined myself as an astronaut prepping for a mission. Curious about my floppy armor, I inquired, "Why am I wearing this heavy poncho?" Muffling a chuckle, she chirped, "Well, we don't want to fry your eggs." "Fry my eggs?" I parroted, hiking an eyebrow. A grin emerged as the technician valiantly suppressed her laughter. She carefully and methodically positioned and repositioned my delicate arm for the x-ray machine and continued, "Let me explain. Radiation can harm your reproductive system. We have you in a big iron gown to protect your body so you can have children in the future, if you want them." Through a foul grimace, I commented, "I don't want children. Can this machine make it to where I can't have them? If I have this gown off, is that what will happen?" The technician pursed her lips, moved my arm for one last x-ray, and said, "Okay, perfect. Hold your arm right there. Don't move." She paused and answered, "Well, Sandra, you might not feel the same way when you get older. Thankfully, you don't have to make those kinds of decisions right now. I'm just protecting your body so that you can choose later." She shut off the machine. "We're all done here. Let's get that poncho off of you," she sweetly teased. Within moments, I was in another waiting area. A tall man in a white lab coat entered my view with a big smile and greeted, "Hello, Sandra. Follow me. Let's examine those photos of your arm together." He sat me on an exam table beside a glowing wall of white light. Quickly, he slid some X-ray transparencies up under a lip to hold them in place. "Yep. You see that? That is a broken arm." Glaring at the term again, I abruptly confirmed, "See, I told you it was broken." The doctor suspiciously eyed the woman, bathing her face in shameful crimson as she attempted her sweetest smile to appear innocent. Since the original break had been an accident, I kept the rest of the story to myself. The doctor redirected his attention toward me and conveyed, "Okay, Sandra, I need to set your arm. This will hurt a lot." The man wrapped some gauze around a few tongue depressors and handed them to me. "Bite down on this." I obeyed and clamped my teeth onto the combined materials. Without hesitation, he clutched my wrist. Sharp pain shot through my arm, up my neck, and clamped my jaw down. "Keep breathing, Sandra. I know this hurts, but you're doing great." Right away, I trusted that man more than I had ever trusted the woman who bore me. I knew the pain that he was inflicting was to correct the damage and not to harm me. "All right, that part's over. Now I need to wrap your arm in a cast." The The doctor layered the fabric, drenched in a chalky paste, around my left arm from thumb to armpit. "Oh, wow, that's cold," I remarked, managing a smile. "Now, your arm is very thin, so I need to make the cast tight enough so that it stays on when it's dry. I'm going to squeeze this cast as close to your arm as possible. This will hurt." Without being told, I reinserted the tongue depressors, clenched my jaw, and nodded like a bull rider. Red-faced and sweating, one tear swelled up and rolled down my cheek. The doctor released my arm. He lowered his face to my level with unwavering eyes and remarked, "Sandra, that was amazing. Not a sound and only one tear. You're one tough kid." He stood up straight and ordered, "Now, let that dry. Don't move your arm." My cast hardened with my heart. I remained motionless and silently pondered. Not crying can impress a doctor? Maybe he's onto something. Every time I cry at home, things get worse. Hiding my pain is definitely safer.